All right, so welcome back here to the the winter fancy food show from, of course, Moscone right here in San Francisco. My name is Paul Barron, and I am hosting today here with Charles Bililies of Souvia.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Very nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. For some of you who may not know Souvia, they are kind of a concept that is not necessarily fast casual, but not necessarily fine dining either. And
exactly.
I don't want to chop that up. I want to hear a little bit about your definition of what that.
It's been called a lot of things, and we're really sort of a pioneer in the space. It's referred to as fine casual. We call it fast fine, upscale counter service. It goes by a lot of things.
Sure.
It really just means that we've taken a lot of the service standards and touch points of a full service fine dining restaurant. And have sort of distilled it down and have our guests order at the counter instead.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit about your background before we kind of dive into the interview itself. A lot of hospitality experience. Really kind of tell me your trek into this business.
Sure, really kind of coming full circle. Got my start in the kitchens of a lot of great restaurants here in the U.S. Legal Seafoods, a little bit of time at the Ritz-Carlton.
Right.
Went to culinary school at Johnson & Wales, so I have a culinary degree, and then also a degree in hotel restaurant management from the hotel school at Cornell University.
Okay.
And then time here on the West Coast. I moved to California about 12 years ago. To go work for Thomas Keller at the French Laundry as his first culinary assistant, and got to define that role, which was pretty cool. And then moved to San Francisco to go work for Michael Mina, also as his culinary assistant, and then found my way back into dining room management, opening and being part of the management team at RN74, which recently turned into International Smoke.
Okay.
And then started Souvia in 2014, had the idea for it in 2009. Took several years to kind of flush all that out, find real estate, all that fun stuff. And we opened our first location in April of 2014, so almost 5 years ago.
Very cool. One of the things that I'm kind of curious about, because as we look at the development of fast casual in the space, and also kind of this upscale dining that isn't necessarily fine dining, really kind of exploding in the categories of around the country, really in a lot of the cities. The fact that you guys have kind of merged those two together is very intriguing. Kind of curious, was that something that you just kind of had in the vision of you wanted Souvia to be that way? Was there something that was driving you to say, hey, maybe this needs to be a different kind of experience?
Yeah, sure. The genesis of Souvia sort of exists on two planes, one of which is the actual product.
Yep.
Where you know, I don't know, 9 years ago now, I guess, I had the idea for kind of the modernization of the gyro or souvlaki sandwich, and sort of giving it that kind of quote-unquote chef treatment. And then the other sort of avenue was, by the time I had kind of rounded out my fine dining career, I had spent a lot of time writing restaurant budgets, doing P&L reviews, really getting into the sort of nitty-gritty on the business side. And fine dining as a business model is fundamentally flawed. You know, there's just so much that goes into creating those incredible dining experiences. My whole thought was really, well, how do we take a lot of the service standards and touch points and kind of whittle away the non-essentials and create a profitable business model? Yeah,
well, the biggest issue, obviously, labor now, which is a big factor.
Of course.
When you've got a ton of servers in the fine dining space. Also space, just the operations itself. When you look at the size of most of these spots, to be able to handle any kind of volume. And then, obviously, the complexity, which kind of removes you out of the grab and go, because typically you can't, the dishes just aren't designed for that.
Sure.
So I love the fact that you guys have kind of blended those two together.
Yeah, we've really brought together actually not only the in-restaurant dining experience, but our product just so happens to travel pretty well.
Yeah.
And so it's something that people will oftentimes come in and take something to go. And then what's been very interesting over the last 5 years is delivery now becoming a thing. 5 years ago, delivery was non-existent in San Francisco. It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't like New York City, where that's just, Seamless and Grubhub have been a way of life there. So shortly after we opened, all of a sudden we started to see the rise of delivery, Postmates and Caviar and Uber Eats and all those things.
Yeah, and you guys kind of hit that stride too.
We did. Yeah,
right on that.
The timing just so happened to really line up, and we also approached it very, very diligently, and we wanted to make sure we picked the right partner. We have a really strong partnership with Caviar.
Okay.
So we've been working with them for many years now, and we've now gotten to the point where we're basically engineering the restaurants not to do just delivery, but certainly to make delivery more efficient and effective. And so an average Souvla now does between about 150 and 225 delivery orders a day.
Wow, that's impressive when you look at just the concept of fast casual in itself.
Sure. Yeah.
Being able to expand the operations like that. You were mentioning pre-show, which I love the idea, was this concept of being able to do the pickup almost like right there on the street level. With
So we just opened up our newest restaurant on Tuesday, so today's day 6. And what we did there, with certainly delivery in mind, is we actually installed a sidewalk-facing pickup window.
Okay.
And we've actually successfully lobbied the city to allow us to put in a white zone or a passenger loading zone.
All right.
And so what you're going to be able to do, or what you can certainly do now, whether you order online through our website or you order for delivery, you can pull your car up, your bike up, whatever it is, pop out, ring the little bell, the window opens, you grab your bag, you're back in the car. So you don't have to worry about double parking or finding parking or any of that stuff.
How hard was that to get that through the city of San Francisco?
It took the better part of last year because they wrote those rules 30 years ago.
Right, yeah. And parking that's a thing here.
Parking's a thing, but they wrote those rules 30 years ago where they stipulated that you had to have more than 100 seats, which none of our restaurants do, and you have to offer valet parking, which nobody offers valet parking anymore. Yep. So, this was about not only for the delivery aspect, but also just for the rideshare aspect. Yeah. In 2017...
So you can take your Uber right up there as well?
You can.
Drop up in
Of
there.
course.
Okay. All right.
In 2017, Paul, the original location of Souvla in Hayes Valley was the most lifted to restaurant in the United States.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so as you are developing Souvla's menu, you guys, of course, are kind of a Greek-forward restaurant.
Sure.
A lot of Mediterranean ingredients, which brings in products like what we see here at the Fancy Food Show.
Absolutely.
Kind of your thoughts on where ingredients and some of these types of flavors are exploring in terms of your menu and maybe just the acceptance of today's American consumer.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that?
So Souvla is actually kind of a reflection of my sort of unique relationship with my Greek heritage. Being second generation, born in the U.S., 2 Greek parents, raised as kind of a quote-unquote, normal American kid. I wanted to be able to sort of show those products in a way that's super approachable. So when you look at the menu, it's very easy to sort of see and understand and read.
Sure.
And so we wanted to be able to showcase those products without making people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Souvla is very much Greek through and through. But nowhere on there will you see, traditional or authentic. We definitely took a lot of liberties.
Okay.
As I sort of created the menu, so everything there is either sourced quite locally or is coming in from Greece.
Okay.
So it's kind of this sort of Californian Greek, if you will.
Yep.
Where you take our chicken salad, for example, which is our #1 selling item. You have sort of unusual things that you wouldn't necessarily see in Greece with oranges and fennel that add this sort of vibrancy to the salad. But then you've got mizithra cheese, right, which we bring in from Greece, which is this very traditional sheep's milk cheese.
Right. Yeah.
All of our olive oil comes from Greece, and then the thing that I'm probably the most proud of is that we have the country's only all Greek beverage list.
How does that work?
All the way down to the sparkling water. Everything that we bring in, beverage-wise, is coming in from Greece.
Okay.
And so we have our own line of private label wine. So we have 4. We work with 3 different wineries
Greek
in
wines,
Greece.
Greek sparkling water. Okay.
Yeah. So sparkling water, traditional Greek sodas made by Luke's. We bring in this really great Greek iced tea made with this very traditional tea leaf called Siderides. And then we work with 3 different winemakers that produce 4 different wines under the Souvla label. And then we also have a Souvla beer.
All right, great.
Yeah.
All right, and I like the fact that you guys have this at such an affordable price point too.
Sure. Yeah.
You were saying in the $50 range with a glass or two of wine?
Check average is somewhere around $21, $22 for us right now. And I was sort of lamenting earlier, my wife and I can't go out to even just kind of your average sort of neighborhood restaurant in this town without spending $150, $200.
Sure.
Souvla, you can come in, dinner for 2 with wine is $50, $60.
That is amazing.
So yeah, it's funny. Almost 5 years ago, we were sort of perceived as this like expensive Euro joint, and now we are truly like the value leader in the space.
I like that. All right, so you're expanding newest location right here in San Francisco.
So new location just opened on Tuesday on Chestnut Street in the marina, so up in the northern part of the city. So super excited about that. That's definitely our most beautiful restaurant that we've built so far. It's over 2 floors, so really opened up the whole front. Beautiful live plant installation, outdoor seating, all this fun stuff. And then from there, we're definitely going to start growing the catering side of the business a little bit more this year. What's been really unique is Souvia has, in under 5 years, has kind of become part of the cultural fabric of San Francisco, and we've had a lot of people that have reached out over the last year asking about catering their weddings because they met at Souvia, they had their first date at Souvia, all of those things. Souvia has just become a part of people's lives. So we're catering our first wedding in April, so this will be fun. We've been super fortunate.
In true Greek wedding fashion, or
I mean, we'll definitely go a little bit off menu, so to speak. We've started to do a little bit more. Our menu hasn't really changed in 5 years, and so and that's, I think, one thing that our guests really love. But also from our end, we now have an incredibly talented culinary team. A lot of people that have come from higher end full service restaurants on the culinary side. So we got some real firepower now, and so we want to start kind of doing some other things in some different applications.
Very good. Last question, because this is one that I think we are seeing some very interesting trends developing to, and that is this whole delivery shift. And the reason I want to kind of end on that question is your restaurant seems to really be migrating to what we think could be a big future for concepts like yours, and even in some cases upscale dining, where they have much smaller footprints, a lot more carry out, a lot more delivery. What are your thoughts on this? Do you find that to be a good track for the industry and a good way for really to kind of leverage the benefits?
I think
of
it's all about. I mean, I think this is where the industry is heading. I think this is about the sort of the adaptation to the current climates. Whether it's obviously labor is very tight and very challenging, and obviously with the rising wages and all those things, commercial real estate prices continue to increase year over year and show no signs of slowing down, despite in other markets really high commercial vacancy. So the only way to really combat those two things, of which we have very little control over, is to basically adapt. Right. And so this is why we're able to do this. This format works really well because we're able to capture not only all of the sort of day parts and capturing the lunch business, dinner business. We also don't close in the middle of the day, and that's actually kind of a huge thing. A lot of people have a tendency, like me, to eat lunch at 3 in the afternoon.
Later.
So we serve straight through. But then, about 30% of our business now is delivery, and about 60% overall of this business happens outside of the restaurant.
That's great.
And what you do see, which I don't necessarily agree with, is people doing the sort of the ghost kitchen,
restaurants,
ghost restaurant, which I think may work in certain applications, perhaps, but the nice thing about
you still need that physical plant.
Exactly. You need that there,
connect the
interaction and all that fun stuff. But then also, delivery and the cost associated with it is predicated on the distance that it's traveling. So if you had one central place, it doesn't necessarily make that much sense.
Exactly. You're going too far.
Exactly.
So you still have the location numbers that you need to get density.
If you plot the Souvia locations on a map of San Francisco, there's kind of a method to my madness there.
The Venn diagram,
sort of, and with each location, we're able to open up a new delivery radius that allows for more affordable delivery.
Just extend on out. I like it.
Exactly.
Charles, I think you guys are onto something. I love your brand.
Thank you so much.
And what you guys are doing. So thanks for stopping in on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. So for you guys, of course, checking out more here from the Winter Fancy Food Show, make sure and stay tuned right here on Foodable Network. And of course, SFA Live, as we get a ton of people coming in for all these new products and incentives, I think, that are changing the food business. Make sure and stay tuned right here.